Okay, welcome everyone to another evening interview here about the EMF. My name is Deborah Blosnich, and I'm here with Debbie Sedify and our lovely guest, Karen Hood-Caddy. Welcome tonight, Karen.
Hi, hello everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us. So as everyone knows, EMF is a program. It's called the Elite Mentorship Forum, and it's all about um, overcoming your limiting beliefs and unlocking your potential, um, and creating lasting change in your life. And so tonight we've invited Karen to share her transformation and her journey with EMF. And so to kick it off, Karen, I would like to ask you what inspired you to join the EMF community?
Right. Well, I think you've asked inspired, which is a great verb. I'm not sure I was inspired. I feel like I was at a point in my life. I'm an elder now, and I've been a coach for 35 years, and so I've done almost every training possible, it seemed to me, and I still had felt that there was some parts of me that were really unfinished. And especially when you age, or when I was aging, as I aged, I was feeling like, gosh, I don't feel like if I died tomorrow, I don't feel like feel like I'd reach my fulfillment. So it was really coming from a kind of soulful angst, I think, about completing my life in a very full, soulful, completing way. And I'd done lots of things in the outside world. I'd done a lot of traveling, and I wanted to have a child. I had a child and a marriage, and I was a writer. I have 9 books published, my goodness, by mainstream publishers. And so I'd done a lot in my world, but I did it struggling. And, it was, I love the EMF phrase, the phrase in the EMF course that they talk about doing it by me. And I was one of those big by me people, just really struggling away. My childhood was a lot about struggling. And so it was like, I just kept struggling, and it was very tiring. And I didn't really feel I was getting in the places in the outside world. I was trying to make the outside world make me happy, basically. So if I got this success, this client, this income, this relationship, whatever, then of course I'd be happy, right? And it wasn't that way. Um, and I I guess what really attracted me to the EMF was the EMFT part. I wanted to do a training. I thought, well, if I'm going to do more personal development, and as I say, I've done a lot of it, I wanted to be able to use it for service. I wanted to be able to do more out there in the world. And Peter Sage offered that. The program offered that big time. A lot of promise. And so I remember how scared I was to spend that amount of money, because for Canadians it's another 35% more, as Debbie is no doubt aware. And so it was a big chunk of change for me. And as I said, I'd done a lot of trainings already. So how do I justify another expenditures like that? And but I was very nervous about doing it. It was interesting how kind of scared I was. It was the biggest amount of money I've ever spent on a training period. It was like I
Mhm.
told myself it's like getting an MBA, but I called it an MBA in myself, an MPA something.
An MBA in
Like
yourself.
that. I like that.
Yeah, I love that as well. And really, you've gone through a lot of different trainings. You said you spent pretty much your whole life on different trainings, which is great. And I just would, and I get the whole, you know, really fighting the world, if you will, and by me, the manipulating and how tiring it can be. But I
Yes.
wanted to ask you, how did Peter's message resonate with you different than all of those other personal development programs that you've encountered? Because it sounds like you've had a lot of experience with these programs.
Yeah, I have done a lot, and I think that it was that that reality is influenceable, and that I'm totally responsible for everything I think, feel, and do, everything I've created. That was kind of uh, that was a big realization for me. I mean, I kind of knew it, but to really take that on, to know that absolutely everything is my responsibility was just huge and wonderful. You know, you kind of love it and hate it all at the same time, right? It's good news and bad news all at the same time, right? And I, and the minute I started the training, I knew it was right for me because it was so challenging. I was a year behind my sister, and she was gorgeous, and she was the apple of my father's eye. And I was this kind of pudgy, kind of mousy haired second daughter. I think they just wanted to have a daughter and a son. So the second daughter came. It was like, oh no, not another girl. And so I had a lot of self-esteem issues that I don't think I faced.
Mhm.
And being a coach, it's so easy to focus on everyone else, right? It's so always there for other people. And I love doing that. But I, when they asked us in the first few weeks of the Sage training to go live and do a video on Facebook, I honestly, I just about dropped out of the program. I just couldn't imagine doing that. I was older. I've never felt confidence in what I look like because of my sister, my childhood, and one thing and another. I remember being almost sick, and also, which was startling to me. I mean, I'm an adult for Pete's sake, but it was so challenging to get out there and be really authentic. That was to me was the biggest hardship in the course is being really authentic. I think that I've always focused on other people, helping other people, not taking on my own stuff as deeply as I might have. And then the Zoom calls were all like this, like, showing up on camera, and oh my God, it was so scary for me. And I can remember spending ages on my hair and what I look like, and it was never good enough. And then finally I just remember just swearing out loud and saying, stop it. Like, I'm not doing this anymore. Who I am is good enough. What I look like is good enough. For Pete's sake, stop. And then from there on, it started to get easier and easier. Now, goodness, I do a video every week in my Facebook group. Um, we have a Facebook group called Quantum Self Mastery, and my buddy from the EMF, and I started it. And and there I am out there every week. I don't even bother with my hair. It's like, oh, come on, it's time, let's go. We just get into it, and it's been such a transformation for me to just realize I'm good enough. Like tonight, I was gonna go over all the questions and write some things out, and I thought, Karen, you know what you want to say. Like, stop, just show up and trust yourself. And that's exactly what I did. I must admit, I did comb my hair, but other than that, I
You
didn't
look
do anything.
lovely.
Yeah, it's kind of like finally getting it at my age that I can be myself, and it's still sometimes hard, sometimes,
Mhm.
um, some situations, but mostly I've got my backup about it. It's kind of like I've got some backbone. It should maybe is a better word. That it's okay for me to make mistakes. It's okay for me to look what I look like, say what I want to say, do what I want to do, and so I'm kind of developing this kind of spunky personality as well. I'm nowhere near as careful. I'm nowhere near as careful. I'm laughing a lot more with my clients. I'm cracking jokes. I'm just kind of being myself, and it's such a relief to have that at this age that I can finally be me. Like I know in talking about it, I feel like, well, this probably doesn't sound very big to other people, but all I can say, it was really big for me. It was really big for me to be authentic and to be out there. And I'm imagining that all kinds of good things are going to happen more and more from it because I'm having new ideas of things I want to do. I'm nowhere near as scared to take risks as I was before. I want to run some courses, and I've wanted to do that before, but I've been doing them very carefully with not a lot of spunk. And they've been okay. But I think what I do from now on will be more appealing to people because it's just I'm just so much more alive and I'm so much more real. And I think that has its own kind of,
Yeah.
compelling force to it, I guess. So I'm
Now,
choosing to think that way anyway.
being authentic is not easy.
No.
I have to say, and especially for women, we do tend to put everybody else first, and all of these other things. But being able to uh, step into your own self that's not an easy thing, and it was something I had to learn as well. So you're not alone, and
Oh,
I feel that there's going to be many listeners out there who are in the same, being authentic is something that doesn't come so easy, for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that. Thank you, Debbie. We're kindred spirits. That feels really nice. And I think I think that's one of the reasons for a lot of people the course is so effective, is that it kind of pares away all the facades that we've put away and all that. Peter Sage, is probably all the listeners will know, Stance uses the word goop, the good opinion of other people. And I was a classic gooper. I mean, I was a big time gooper. I wanted to be liked and I didn't want to say anything too controversial. And but I'm not like that now. I'm much more, and I'm much more lighthearted. I'm much more willing to let people be who they are. I'm not proving myself. For years with coaching, I was trying to prove myself, trying to be really a good coach, instead of
Right.
just going with it more intuitively and trusting myself. Like the call tonight, just to trusting that, just be real and tell them my fears of being, what I look like and all that, and trust that that's important to say for somebody out there listening. And it's been so liberating. And I remember after that first Facebook post that I did, um, I felt a rush in my body as if years of constriction had just kind of whoosh gone away, because I was like breaking through this boundary in my neural programming. And it was so
Oh,
liberating. I remember I just wanted to dance on the spot. I felt so full of energy, as if all that energy that was keeping me down, keeping me in a
right.
certain way was just done.
Aw, that's awesome. I love your energy, and I can just sense. Sorry, if my arm's moving, I'm petting my kitty. Um, but I love your energy, and you can like even through the camera, I can sense your lightness and that freedom.
Yeah,
And I do. I think I have to agree with Debbie. Like a lot of us, yeah. And I love the way you say it. We learn to let go of all the facades, right? The masks we wear, so that others will fit in, right? And will be part of
yeah, we'll fit
the
in.
crowd, will be
Yeah,
accepted, right? And now you're just you, and your energy
yeah.
is just it's palpable. Like I could feel it, and I absolutely it's just so beautiful. So beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, goodness, how can I coach if I'm not real? I'm trying to get other people to be real and to risk and all of that. And so I feel like it's so important now. And that may be one of the reasons why I feel like my coaching is more effective than ever, because I think people see, and I'm more willing to talk about what I went through before. I would never want to talk about my own self-consciousness. Oh my God. I mean, that was people who were confident didn't do that, did they? It was like, but I'm
right.
so willing to be real now in every way with my own struggles, etc. And I find that I want to even take it further, because I think it's attractive in its own way, isn't it? It's
Mhm.
it's just
Yeah,
I'm more likely to meet the kind of people who I can help when I'm real like that. That's all I wanted to say. Yeah.
that's
So
okay.
it's been
Awesome.
it's been good. I still have my trepidations, so don't get me wrong, I'm not like Miss Super Confident yet, but I've made it look like I was for so long, but it wasn't a really deep confidence. And I think that a lot of people do that as well. They kind of put it on, like they know what they're doing. I was big at that. I had a coach, like, was supposed to know what I was doing, and my God, I was gonna hold on to that one. That's what I
Right.
get
Don't
paid for,
don't
right?
don't drop the ball. Don't let anybody see. Don't let them see you cry. Don't let them see you fumble, right? Don't let them see your flaws. But the reality is, the more we can be vulnerable, the more we give others the permission to be vulnerable. And then we all realize, hey, guess what? We're all a little bit vulnerable and we're all human. And the more we just allow each other to express our flaws, the more
Yeah,
connected we actually feel, even though it's what we're all trying to get, right? So it's
yeah,
wild. And I love that. I love, love, love that. So you spoke a little bit here about how you've changed personally and maybe in your showing up with your coaching that you do. How has the EMF journey changed, like maybe your personal relationships and even maybe something a little more specific about your personal self that maybe
yeah,
changed?
yeah. Well, there's been a lot of changes there, because I've been with a partner for a long time, and we live separately now because I used to find him so difficult. And of course it was his fault, he was difficult. Now, my friends tended to agree, but nonetheless. Um,
That's
and then
good.
I just found that it didn't matter to me. The more I took care of myself and got excited about my own life and wasn't asking him to fulfill me in any way, it just lightened all of that as well. And we're just getting along great lately. For months and months now, it's been so much. We still run into our glitches, but I'm just freed up, about him. And it's funny. I just had a coaching call before this interview, and this woman was going through something very similar, taking her begging bowl to the partner, please love me and please tell me I'm okay, etc. And I was able to be so helpful to her about letting him go by taking responsibility for herself and having a great time in her own life, and then he'll either fit into that or he won't. And
Right.
my my partner is just showing himself to be very different these days, as I'm different. It's kind of like my liberation, and I think this is true. I mean, the Buddha said this, every one person who liberates themselves liberates those around them as well. And I've been really experiencing that with my partner. I'm just, he can be difficult, and so what? I call him my rhinoceros. He's got that little horn, and sometimes he just pokes a little, and you know, but I can walk away. I can walk away, or I can bless him and walk away,
Right.
or I can ask him what he needs and see if I can help him. Or there's lots of options other than reacting back, don't talk to me
Right.
that way, or whatever. So I would say I'm more loving generally to everyone. I'm more loving. I'm more willing to be of service, even if there's just absolutely nothing in it for me, or maybe the person doesn't even know me on the street or whatever, helping someone to do something. And the sweet joy that comes from that. There's a lot of sweet joy that can come from giving service. Um, once I step out of, this thing that I'm running, all the time, or was running all the time. So it's being loving is really important to me. And I think that's coming back to the soul thing. Like, what is it that I want to get to before I die? What is it? And it is that. It's being really fulfilled with my present tense, and knowing nothing else needs to happen, that I am just a beautiful being as I am, and I don't need to manipulate anything out there. I can just So this is where the quantum field comes in as well, because one of the radical and most appreciative things for me about the Sage course, and I remember when I first came into the first module, I thought, what's he talking about here with this? Why is he leading this whole course with the cosmic field? What's that got to do with anything? So I remember
Yes.
thinking, what is this guy like? Really, is he really that off the wall out there in the
I
So of
love it.
course I've gotten hugely into the quantum field, but I want to run a course on it in the new year, just on the quantum field. And I'm studying it avidly. Not just Peter's jig on it, but all kinds of people's, because I just think it's where we're all going. And it's so exciting to think that we are part of this huge force that is loving us and caring of us. It's like a big kind of sun out there that's just wanting everything to grow and be flowing and non-judgmental. And so I meditate on that now every day, and I'm doing some meditations that I'm posting online around the quantum field, and it's just changing my life. It's like it's again allowing me to go deeper into letting go and being peaceful, and um, knowing I'm loved. Like when you know you're loved, you don't need a whole lot out there. If
Right.
you're okay and you're loved and being taken care of. And so I meditate on that in the context of the quantum field, and it's a game changer. What can I say? And I haven't brought that fully out with clients because I still feel a little, scared about it. It's like, what are they going to think? And so there's still some remnants of that, kind of being careful. But I am going to do this course. At some point, I'm going to do a course in the new year on the quantum field and my relationship to it, and some tips and tools for people to explore that more. Because Peter touches on it, but I don't feel he goes as far as I want to go. I want to go way
Right.
further with that.
That
So
sounds
I'm
exciting.
going to do that. Sorry, what, Deborah?
Awesome. I love it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that we all went into module 1 and were blown away. I don't
What?
think
Say
that you're
what?
the only one. We're like both of us were like, "What?
What,
This is
what did
like
I sign up for? What are we talking about?
exactly. But you're also right that Peter really doesn't go into the depths of it. He really just touches on it so that we can realize that we have the opportunity to make our reality and not be like one of he's so beautiful with metaphors, but the metaphor of being in a room in an art gallery, and if you don't like the
Yes.
pictures on the wall, go to another
Keep
room.
going.
Don't try and change what's there. Find another room. And that was really telling. And I think as we've gone through talking to people who have graduated from EMF, I don't think that anybody has said, oh yeah, nothing to the quantum field. It's like that module 1 was pretty mind-blowing for all of us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It started off
And
with a bang.
yeah, and so that I would say might have been an unexpected insight, and I love the fact that you are taking it further now, and, I
Yeah.
think a lot of us end up, studying other things as we've kind of branched out, but we still have that foundation of what Peter gave us in the EMF. What were there any other breakthroughs that you experienced during the program or things that you were totally unexpected? Besides the whole quantum field thing that was right in module 1.
Yeah. That's a big besides, if I might say, because it was the quantum field that
It's
really did it for
huge.
me. I think the other important part was the identity work, really getting clear on your identity. And I have a statement that I work with now every day that's about 3 paragraphs long that I read to myself in the morning after I meditate. And it's just all part of rejigging my internal understanding of myself. And so I love that. I found that really helpful because it kind of reiterates the path that I'm on and helps remind me about the things I'm no longer doing. That's really great as well in that identity piece to say that's not me anymore to be. My family was so judgmental and blaming. Oh my God, blaming was the game in our family. And
Oh,
and my family still does that. My siblings do that. And so I get to see it, that's still running and learning not to blame and to just let things be and Peter's such an example of that. I mean, when anyone comes frontal at Peter with something negative, he just doesn't take it in. It just
right.
doesn't exist for him. And I've been a bit gobsmacked by that, to use that great Scottish expression. I lived in Scotland for 7 years, so I love that expression. But to just not go places that, even if the world around you or your friends or people or situation is pushing you towards blame or judgment or whatever, you still have that choice. And if your identity is to be clean of that, to be clean, to be loving, to be in lovingness, then you just don't do it. And or if you do it, you change it quickly. And so that's the other thing, is knowing that you're going to make those mistakes, but you visit those places. You don't live there anymore. I love that expression. I find
Mhm.
that really helpful. I don't live there anymore. And
I love that.
so I think
Yeah.
that was the other thing, Debbie, is the whole identity piece has been very strong for me. And again, I work with it now with clients all the time, ask them to do identity statement. I call it a personal identity commitment. I call it a pick. So it's like a picture, but a different, it's an emotional picture. It's emotional
Mhm.
commitment. So that's been, and some of them are just, raving about it. They just feel how great that is to have a new sense of yourself at any age. That, oh, my other thing, I wrote a blog a while ago and it called, You Don't Have to Die to Get a New Life. In the old way, you had
Wow.
to die to get a new life. There was no other options. Now we can have a couple of lives, in a given time span. And so we're becoming gods and our god and goddesses in our own right, aren't we? We can create our world any way we want, as long as
Yeah.
we're willing to do the inner work. Again, no small thing to do, but it's kind of amazing that we would have the ability to do that. My parents would have no clue that that was even possible.
Right.
You're born
Right.
into a certain way of being, in a certain class, a certain religion, certain body. Now people can even change genders. My goodness. I mean, it's a wild west of the world. It's exciting.
It is. It is. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And I love that you say like our parents would never even think about this, right? Like it was just like, um, and I, when you talk to a lot of older people or even some younger people, they're just like, that's just who I am, right?
Yes,
And you're like,
yes,
yeah,
that
but you're
statement.
not very happy. So like, but they're not aware that like you can lay all of that down, right? And just walk,
Yeah,
just go like you're not happy. You're saying this is who I am, but you're not happy. Just walk away and become somebody new, but they don't know how. And that's why, right? It's
yeah,
so beautiful
absolutely.
when you see somebody go ahead and walk into that next phase of their life, right? You're just like,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And it's so light.
And it's everywhere now. I mean, all over the internet. I mean, honestly, it's still new to the main culture, but
Yes.
it's kind of becoming so pervasive. I think in another 5, 10 years, we're all going to be doing this. I think it's going to
Yeah.
be a really different world. It's,
Yeah.
I mean, where when you try to think of where this goes, what kind of a culture or people we end up being when we know we can create whatever we want, and there's all kinds of technologies that are coming up to support that, like brain techniques and sound waves and different stimulations of the brain that will make different things happen in our neural programming. It's fascinating. Like that's such an exciting time to be alive, isn't it? I mean, honestly, it's just
It is. It
amazing.
is. Yeah, definitely changes are coming and they do. They are exciting and it just looks like wow, like, yeah, so I agree with you 1,000%. And with that, you kind of touch upon too, like how do you feel EMF sets you up? Like our next question was going to be, how do you feel EMF has set you up for long-term success and transformation? And I feel like you're kind of touching on this, not even just for yourself, but right, like you're talking like
Yeah,
the
well, I think
world.
because my mindset is so different and my neural programming is so different, I'm set up for that. I haven't been super happy with the business side of the program. I must admit, I haven't been super happy with that. But and I know they're working with it, so they're doing the best they can. But
So with
in
that, I
terms
just
of,
want to clarify real quick, just to
yeah,
make sure I understand what you're saying there. So, like, you felt like the EMF helped you with your personal transformation, but
yes,
then as becoming an EMT, an actual trainer, you feel a little disappointed with the trainer side of it. Is that
yeah,
what you're
in
saying?
terms of
Or,
making a business out of it
okay,
and learning how to do that has not come to fruition, and it's been slow and confusing and stuff. So I haven't been happy with that, and I've said
okay,
so, and whatever. But I know there's work being done. I'm in the incubator, business incubator right now, so I'm pleased that I got accepted to that, and we'll see what I can do with that. Um, it's exciting. So
yeah,
I think they're finding their own way as well. But
right.
sometimes I think Peter just gets so excited and so full of promise, and you feel like that promise is going to be next week. Well, you know, doesn't always happen that quickly. So we'll
Right,
see.
Yeah, he's not the one that has to implement it. He's just the one who has the vision. It's
Yeah,
easy to have the vision, not so easy to implement. And I know that from when I used to work in my corporate job. The implementers were always like, "Ah," you know,
overwhelmed.
easier said than done sometimes. So yeah, you have to give a little bit of grace. And yeah, Peter is
absolutely.
definitely a visionary. That's all I can say.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's fair enough to leave that there. But there's a lot of changes going on with the
Mhm.
organization as well. So we'll
Yeah.
see. And all of us are forming it as well. I
Right,
have to remind myself, well, wait a minute, I can say things and I can make suggestions and whatever. And I've been doing that a fair bit, like making some suggestions about
good.
things. And because we want to be in an organization that we feel proud of, that we feel
Yes,
has integrity throughout
right.
its operations. And so sometimes again, it's like trying not to worry too much about being seen as someone who's criticizing. I don't want to criticize them, but I do want there to be changes in the Sage organization. I do. The way I want more
Mhm.
women in it for starters. Like all the three leaders are all men, and I want it to be different. And I want all those people to be paid who do some of the groups,
Okay,
community managing and stuff. It to me, it's 30 years old. Like, come on, get with the program here. We want the world to change, and we want to change our consciousness. Let's do it. So sometimes a bit of the problem with someone like Peter is everyone gets on that cheerfulness thing, and then we're not maybe as clear as we should be about things needing to change and what those things might be. We're afraid then of being seen as negative or not supportive or whatever. I know I've been facing that lately because I've been saying some things and I feel vulnerable saying them because so many people are just so rah with the sage stuff, and I'm rah too. But I want it to be I want it to be an excellent organization, and
Okay.
I think it's got some steps to go through. So anyway, I'll keep talking about it, see if I can stir up some
Yeah.
more
That's okay.
interest
I
in that.
think they are open to listening. And like you said, I feel like too that like they're forming it and then it changes a little because like, oh wait, this could be better, that could be better. And they are. So I'm glad that you speak up and say the things that you need to say. And um I think yeah, the changes are coming, but we do have to speak up and say them. And I think they're open to listening. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
But fair enough. Fair enough. They're not perfect, and that's we're not
No.
saying they are. So
I think that the program is an amazing program. And I think, you've talked a lot about how you've had some transformation. There's been a huge amount of growth in the
yep,
program. And so whenever there's growth like that, there is definitely uh, need for things to change and to take a look at how the organization is working. And it's not the same because I remember Peter talking about Maria being. I mean, she was his first employee, and that's not the case anymore.
yes,
So
yes,
where it definitely is something. I'm sure there's a lot of learning that they're doing internally. And I
yep,
know that Peter would even say that there's been some things they had to rethink that didn't
okay.
exactly turn out the way that they expected. But on the kind of on the positive side, because EMF is definitely positive. If
EMF
you
is
were
gold.
speaking,
I have no questions about
yeah,
EMF. EMF is a
EMF is
life-changing
EMF is
transformational
yeah.
program. I'm glad I did it. I'll never be sorry for doing it ever.
yeah.
It's just the trainer side that I've got some suggestions for.
Yeah, no, and that's what you say. It's suggestions, right? So if you were speaking to someone today considering about joining the EMF program, which is our elite mentorship forum, what would you tell them about your experience and why they should take the leap?
Well, I don't think I would ever say to anyone that they should do something like that, but I would help them to see the possibilities if they did take something like that. And I think my own experience is really helpful for them to hear, my own transformation, especially someone who's done as much, personal therapy and work on myself, etc., to be saying it's such a great program. I think that says lots about the EMF, that how effective it is. Being 6 months helps. Having a buddy, it really helps. I had great buddies. I had two different ones in the program. One dropped out after a while, but it was really great to have that kind of kinship with someone. And so I would encourage them to wish in a way they could just try it out. Sometimes I wish that, they could say, well, give it a try for a month and then, whatever, and then I'm sure they'd stay in it, but that's not an option. But I guess I would just want them to hear the possibilities and how powerful they can be, and tell other stories, other people's stories about the possibilities, because you, Debbie, have your transformation story, and Deborah has hers, and we all do, and that's remarkable that we all do. I mean, how many people in a 6 month program have strong transformation stories? So I would really encourage them to really look at it and see how they might how it might benefit them, where they might be, because the word is transformation,
Mhm. Nothing less than
change.
transformation,
Yeah,
that's for sure.
exactly. And that's a big thing to do. Not many personal growth programs um, use that word as frequently as Peter does.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. Transformation is definitely the right word, I would say.
Yeah.
Even if you're not looking, I wasn't looking for a transformation.
No?
I
Yeah.
wasn't looking for a transformation, but boy, did I ever get one.
Yeah. It's funny for me to be telling my story and not hear your stories. Like I'm kind of think I want to ask you questions about your stories, but it's probably not what I should be doing.
You can have us on your show
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
someday.
There you go. Great idea. Great idea. Yeah.
Anyway,
Wow.
Karen, we want to thank you so much for spending
Yes,
your
so
time
much.
today to share your incredible journey with us. And we'd love to share ours at some point with you as well. And, it's really inspiring about how, you've been doing coaching for so many years and how this program has really changed the way that you look at things, the way you look at, your relationships, the way you look at your coaching, and how it's really amazing. And for those of you that are out there who are curious about the Elite Mentorship Forum and how it can create lasting change in your life, we encourage you to take the next step. And that is so easy. It's whether you want to improve your mindset, break those limiting beliefs, look at the quantum field a little bit more, or find a new purpose. EMF is actually here to support you on your journey. And we want to invite you to look at taking that first step. Really is about looking at making changes that are going to be sustainable. And you can't make changes by your willpower. And, a lot of us end up with self-sabotaging, procrastination. We know what it is we need to do, but yet we can't do it. And then we beat ourselves up over and over and over again. And really, what we need to do is learn how to have self mastery rather than getting more knowledge and accumulating more knowledge about what to do. We need to look at ourselves and how we can master what we're doing inside of ourselves. And so the starting point for that is the ultimate self mastery. And we have an amazing masterclass that Peter does. And we invite you to watch this masterclass. And if you're interested, you can type USM in the comments. And I'm going to give you the link right now. That's going to be in the comments as well. We invite you to check it out. And if you're interested, you can get back to Deb, Karen, or myself about the USM and what you've learned through that program. So check it out. Karen, thank you so much again for
Thank you
all
so,
your
so much.
time.
Beautiful
Well,
show.
thank you. I mean, the one thing I didn't touch on is the great people in the EMF, and anyone who's watching this, seeing Deborah and Debbie, you can see the quality of people that are in this program. And so, it's just these are the kind of people you meet when in the course, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
People who are growing and
So
compassionate and
fabulous.
caring
Yeah.
people.
We have an amazing community, I have to say. I agree.
Yeah.
It's very amazing.
Well,
And
I
we're
appreciate you
still
both
meeting
hugely.
more and more people.
Yeah, it's been a great experience. Thank you for
Thank
making it
you.
so
Well, we
safe and
appreciate your time.
yeah, great.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.